everyone. Nick from Unstabletop here, welcoming you to our feed. Whether you're here on purpose or found us on accident, we are all super grateful that you're checking us out. Unstabletop was formed earlier this year by myself and a group of friends who all have a passion for TTRPGs. We've been playing together for about 7 years now and really just wanted a creative outlet to be able to share our games and our table with everybody. For this game coming up, we're going to be running Empire of the Ghouls, which is a Kobold Press campaign published in September of 2020 that takes place in the Midgard setting. All of us are incredibly excited to dive into the city of Zobek with you, and we hope that you enjoy the adventure as much as we do. The players and I took some time to record some introductions so you can meet everyone and take a little peek at the party we've crafted. Those are coming up here in just a second. So again, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
So first off, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say.
Pause for edit.
Pause for edit again. So hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out this early recording that we're doing. This is a learning process for all of us, and we have no problem admitting that. So here we go. I'm here with Chris. Chris, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Like just me, as in like just me, Chris.
Yeah, like your shoe size, like what you're wearing,
Oh.
your social security number.
Well, my name is obviously Chris. My pronouns are he and they. And you can use those interchangeably. I don't really care which way. Um, I don't know. I've been playing D&D for a little bit now.
A
I
little
mean,
bit.
what's a little bit like? God, when did we start playing together? Like 5 years ago,
Yeah, something like that.
something like
Um,
that.
so tell everyone a little bit about your history with tabletop games in general, not just D&D, but anything related to tabletop.
So my first exposure to tabletop games was probably when I was really little, maybe like I don't know 7 or 8. My uncle was like really big into it when he was a kid and talked about it every now and then. And I would ask him like, "Hey, like I really that sounds really cool. Can I play?" And he'd be like, my your mom would probably get really mad at me and say it's satanic or something." Um, and then one day when I was in college, the president of the club I was in mentioned that they were running a D&D game, or they were playing in a D&D game run by one of the other members, and I joined up with them, and that's how I met you, and then I played in all your games since then. It's been a great time.
Yeah, so this is not our first time playing together, um, but you're playing something a little different than you've played in the past, sort of. What do you have planned for this campaign? What kind of character are we going to see from you?
Oh boy, we are playing. We're gonna be playing a wizard. Um, a particularly strange wizard, I think. Um, though all wizards are a little bit strange. Um, he's a character for sure, and I've only played a wizard one other time, and I feel like he was very a generic wizard. So we're gonna see some interesting things. Do you want me to tell you more about him?
Yeah, why don't you tell me whatever you feel comfortable telling me without spoiling anything?
Yeah, okay. So my character's name is Pan. His pronouns are he, him, and he's a tiefling. He's a little strange. He's got a little bit of a green coloration to his skin,
A
and he has the
green
two.
tiefling.
Yeah, a green tiefling. Much to the chagrin of 5e traditionalists. Um, he's got some horns on the front of his head, and he has like this longish, medium-ish, longish white hair. He is a little scatterbrained, if that's a thing that isn't offensive. I don't think it is. Um, he's a bit all over the place. He learned magic at a really early age, and has kind of just been, living in the free city of Zobek for a little bit.
Yeah, spoiler, Zobek. We are playing some Kobold Press products, the fine folks at Kobold Press that make products that we all like and enjoy. Um, so, as far as my understanding, all of these characters are based in things that already exist in the Kobold Press stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, this one for sure is. When I started reading up on some of that material to get ready, I really enjoyed Zobek. Just its kind of rejection of noble rule and general stuff like that. They're really into personal freedoms and believing that everyone can make it on their own. So I
Right.
thought that was really cool.
And speaking of everyone making it on their own, I'm sure a green tiefling is looked upon fondly in the free city of Zobek. Is that right?
Ooh, it kind of depends on who you ask, I guess. I mean, their tieflings are pretty rare, and a lot of people don't like tieflings very much. Um, and some tieflings like these, they form these like fringe of society groups. I don't imagine that Pan would be one of them. He'd just be a guy kind of walking around,
Okay.
hoping that no
So
one throws something at him.
so tell me a little bit about a little bit kind of you mentioned that Pan was sort of a scatterbrain type guy, and he had some pretty early experiences with magic. Um, Tell me a little bit more about sort of his family situation. What's going on with him in the city? Does he live by himself? Does he have folks? Who does he stay with?
He's currently living with a friend, away from his family. He does have a family, and he stays in pretty good contact with them. He's both of his parents are humans, and he has two siblings, one older and one younger. Um, it's a very loving home he came from. He hasn't seen too much of them since he's been studying at the Arcane Collegium. So he's been off there doing his own thing a little bit. Um, I don't know how much more I want to go into without getting into spoiler territory, but
Uh,
he has a good relationship with his family.
I'm sure that it was no surprise when he came out and was green and had horns.
Yeah, I'm sure it was no surprise, and there was definitely no allegations of anything, and there's definitely no rumors around town about how that happened.
Family drama.
Mm.
And you mentioned an arcane collegium. Is that right?
Yeah, he's going to school there. He's got an apprenticeship there. He's learning to be a wizard. Kind of what you have to do, just study a lot.
Okay. So what kind of things are you hoping for him? This sounds like a character that's sort of in the very early parts of maybe a little bit of self discovery, a little bit of self knowledge here.
Yeah, he was interested like really deeply, as I imagine anyone would be, when he asked his parents, "Hey, mom and dad, why am I green?" And they were just like, "Well, we don't know." And it's not a great answer. So he's done a lot of looking into that, and he's really interested to finding out why that happened, and maybe some stuff that comes along the way with that, like how the universe is pretty random.
Okay. I guess two final questions here. Number one, what is he going to do when he figures that out? When he figures out the scope and the design of himself in the universe?
Gosh, I don't really know. I think he would want to share that information. He might even be interested in taking up a permanent position at the Arcane Collegium as like a professor.
Yeah, because I'm sure that this adventure will revolve around him living a very happy and long life as a tenured professor.
Yeah, regular people don't go around adventuring.
Question number two: what kind of backup character do you have when your level one wizard inevitably dies after being killed by a falling brick or tripping over a tree root and falling and hitting their head and drowning, or
Oh
some
boy,
other terrible fate?
I don't really like how this is going. Probably, I think I'd be interested in playing a Kobold Artificer.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just an artificer, something I've never played before.
So tell me and tell the two and a half people that are going to listen to this in the next 6 months. Um,
How does a half person listen to something?
well, we're inclusive here. We include
Okay,
all
fair
peoples,
enough.
including half people.
Got it.
Um, what are you most excited about for this? Not only this character, but sort of this project.
I think that, and maybe this is bold of me to say, but I think we're all pretty good at playing this game, and I think we all get along pretty well. And we do a lot of riffing off of each other, so I think we bring a lot of comedy to this. So I'm hoping that we lean into that direction, even if things get pretty grim. So I'm really excited about seeing where this goes and seeing how much everyone enjoys doing it.
Any thoughts on your fellow players that we'll be hearing from probably sometime after this conversation?
I think they're all wonderful friends of mine that I've had for several years, and I think we're all gonna do great.
I'd like to timestamp that part so when one of the other players accidentally or purposefully kills you in the future,
Yeah, I'll
that
definitely bring that back up.
okay. Is there anything else that you think that we need to know? Anything else you want to share about your character or anything else?
So when we started doing these characters, you asked us a bunch of questions, and I think the favorite one I saw that you asked was how many knives do they have? Um, in my I wrote down, I mean, what is a knife? Is a letter opener a knife? Because if so, too. And I just think that's really fun.
Okay. Well, I hope that Pan is planning to bring something into the free city of Zobek a little bit stronger, a little bit more powerful than just a letter opener. But maybe
Mm.
that'll work out for him and all of his interests. We can only hope for the best. Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to talk about your character. Of course, we'll be hearing from these other characters in this Kobold Press Empire of the Ghouls campaign, which I think everyone is super excited about. Um, and reading the adventure, I think is going to be a lot of fun to play through and a lot of fun to run. For those of you that hear this prior to the next couple of weeks, most of our adventuring party is planning to travel to PAX Unplugged in where's that again, Chris?
That'd be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So if you're one of the 4 people that hears this in the next 6 months, and you are there and want to chat or hang out or grab a beer, we like to drink beer. Uh,
Yeah, we do.
that would be super cool. So, Chris, thanks so much, and we will hear from you shortly.
Oh yeah, let's go.
I don't know what to ask. Fuck, I forgot. Um, hey, Wes, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. This is good. This is not really how we had planned to do this initially, and there may be a couple hiccups, but this is a learning process. This is new for all of us, and as I said when we were recording with Chris, none of us are afraid to admit that.
Yeah, for sure.
So a little bit. Tell me about your character for this upcoming campaign. I assume it's going to be some elf ranger of some royal renown as usual.
Oh man, I wish. No. With the campaign setting that we're going in, like my initial thoughts were I wanted to play like like a Viking character or something Norse, to try and better fit with the setting. So like then I kind of went in and I read through the books and the different settings. So I definitely wanted to build something from the Northlands. Um, and then I wanted to also use like a class from the books as well. And digging through some of them, I found a couple different classes, but the one that really jumped out to me as being like very Northland specific was a druid subclass. Um, so I'm going to be running a human druid.
Wow, a human druid.
Yeah.
I'm sure your human druid has a lovely backstory with loving parents and no character flaws or tragedies, right?
Um. Sure. Definitely the best family life
Okay.
as always.
So tell me a little bit. Obviously, this is going to be set somewhere a little far away, but tell me a little bit about the Northlands area.
So the Northlands are kind of like this very harsh environment, just very cold, snowy all the time, and like there's long periods of like darkness just from like the way their day night cycle works. Like they'll just have parts of the year that are pretty much all dark. Um, so like that environment tends to grow people who are just as like hard and hardy as like the world that they live in.
Okay. And tell me a little bit more. How are you feeling about playing a druid? I know that normally Druid's not one of your go-to classes. So how are you feeling about that?
Um, I mean, mixed feelings, I guess. I am a little bit worried about playing like a full spellcaster on like a podcast thing because I don't know. We've played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes being a spellcaster can be a lot of work. Uh, but my plan going in is to try and not be like a super combat focused character. I want to be more of like a support character. So when I'm like picking spells, I'm trying to focus on picking stuff that I think will be more utility, and I want to try and take as much advantage of that as I can.
So, just for everyone's record, that means that you're going to be playing Pocket Healer for the entirety of the party.
No, oh god, I'm not taking a single healing spell. You can't make me. Um,
I've heard
go
of
on.
I've heard of utility wizards are a big thing, right? And I think maybe some of the other spellcasting classes sort of lose some of that utility. Aside from clerics, and I guess I had never thought about it before, but I guess a utility druid is entirely possible. So I'm excited to see that. Without giving away any spoilers, tell us a little bit more about your character's kind of upbringing or their personal life. Anything that you want to share that you feel like isn't going to ruin the sort of learning experience of your character.
So I mean, I don't want to go into it too much, but the way that I've written my character and that I'm writing it, is that like he's from this like very Viking centric society, or I don't think they ever use that word in the campaign book. I think they call them reavers. But like in the real world, we have like this mindset of like the tough Vikings and like what that culture is like and how it's a very like a battle centric culture and all of that. I feel like my character doesn't really fit in with that society, and that's kind of part of what's driven him to like the trades that he's taken up into why he's kind of traveling out.
I know that we have discussed this next part at length, mostly with me harassing you for weeks on end about sending me something. So for some of your past characters, just for everyone else, who doesn't play in our games, for one character, you had sent me a complete genealogy of their family and who they belong to,
Mm-hmm.
them being sort of descended, being a part of the nobility in the Feywild. For our current game, which is a Starfinder game, you wrote me a screenplay for your character that should be shared in the event of his unfortunate demise. What kind of research have you done going into this character? I know that's a really important part of character building for you.
So for this character, I wanted to really like stick with that old North, old Norse theming. So I've went in and I read the Vinland sagas, like the actual like historical sagas, which would be the saga of the Greenlanders or the Icelanders and the saga of Eric the Red. Um, and I kind of want to have my backstory portrayed like in the same voice of those sagas and kind of write in that style and kind of bring as much of that as I can. I feel like I'm probably gonna butcher it because man, some of those names are hard to pronounce, including some of the names I've put in my own backstory. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier before we started recording. You want to try to pronounce that name for everyone?
Oh, my character's name.
Yeah,
I will most likely ruin it, but his name is Finnvarður Sigmundsson.
I'm sure that the hundreds of tens of people that are listening that live in those regions of the world are entirely offended by your pronunciation.
I'm trying my best. There's a like a Norse language specialist college professor who's I believe his name is Jeremy Crawford. Is that right? James
Uh,
Crawford? Hold on, let me look it up. I want to get this. I want to get this right real quick. It's Jackson Crawford. He does a lot of videos talking about like Norse language, and I've done a lot. I've watched several of his videos talking about like the pronunciation and like the structure of the names. Um, and he even does some like mythology ones. And like I watched a video that he did on like the magic in like the old Norse stuff, and that's where some of the inspiration for my character came from. He's been a very like good wealth of information.
So what you're saying is, even though I've been harassing you for 6 months to send me something for your character, that time has been used quite effectively, and you have probably been deep diving more than anyone else when it comes to making their character.
Sure, I'll take that.
Yeah. Um, I can't wait to record and hear the comparison of the work that you've put in versus the work that Josh has put into his character, because you two play generally very different kinds of characters, and I
Oh
think that comparison will be interesting.
yeah. He'll just be a big guy who hits stuff real good, like
I
always.
Yeah, okay. Anything else that you want to share about your character? Anything else that you really feel like anyone needs to know about you or your character, or just anything in general?
Um, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
We'll leave everything else to come out in the podcast and the role play and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for doing this. And we will check in here shortly with a couple other players. So thanks everyone for taking a listen to this. Hopefully you've heard the other ones. Chris and I have recorded his already, so that should be in front of this, I think. We also have two other players that we'll be doing these with, so you can get kind of an idea before listening to this what we're going to be going into and who you can expect to meet. So thanks so much. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another character intro with us. I am here with the illustrious Josh, who's here to talk a little bit about his character. Josh, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing just fine. I am tired of Thanksgiving leftovers, and I'm ready for them to be gone forever. At least until Christmas when we have similar foods. So this is the third intro that we're doing. We did Wes and Chris's intro previously, and hopefully those are already up and where people can hear them and judge all of us for being shitty people in general. But tell me a little bit about your character. What kind of character are you bringing to this game?
I'm bringing a paladin, a steadfast paladin, some would say.
Paladin. I'm sure you've never played any of those before in any of the other games that we've played.
Oh, never. I would never play a paladin.
Um, so what made you pick Paladin? You know, was it a pretty obvious choice for you to go Paladin, which I think we can both agree is probably your favorite class.
That is correct. Paladin is my favorite class. With something like this, I feel like the paladin would work well with this campaign.
And why is that?
I don't know, thinking about like Empire of Ghouls, I think a paladin fighting against ghouls in like maybe a plague type scenario would really show what a paladin can do.
So bringing a Paladin to an undead fight, that sounds fair. What makes this Paladin that you're playing now, this Paladin that you've spent some time working on, what makes this Paladin different than some of the other ones that you've played?
Well, he just kind of figured out how to be a paladin. He's very new to it, where most of my paladins have been um, training to be paladins all their lives. He's only been training maybe 5, 6 years. And I feel
So
like that's a new, interesting take for me to play a younger character, especially younger than myself, on like how to grow in the world and grow to be a better person alongside the world.
okay, so truly a level one character coming in with, very little, or I guess very little Paladin experience compared to, some who train for decades, and then also a young character who have they been adventuring before? Is this their first time? Tell us about that.
They've never been adventuring before. They've been with a band of nomads all their life, traveling from area to area throughout the southern lands.
So, in the when you were preparing this character and you dug a little bit into the Southlands, is there anything that you can tell us? Anything you think is just cool about the Southlands, or anything that you think is important to your character?
Um, well, he hasn't experienced too much of it because most of his travels are within the deserts, actually, the Crescent Desert. He'll go to different like towns through that. I think the most interesting thing is he was on the cusp of the Valley of the Golden Ulthra. He never got to actually go into the valley because his father and mother were against that. They keep pretty close tabs on him, not letting him go out too much.
Is there a reason why that valley is a dangerous place?
They they never said. They never gave him a reason. They just told him to stay away. They said to stay with the caravan at all times. As Zim loves and cherishes his family, his parents, he doesn't want to disobey them.
And your character's name, as we heard, is Azim. Is that right?
That is correct.
And what is Azim? We know that Azim is a paladin. Is he a human? Is he an elf? What is he?
He is a human.
He's a human. No surprises there. Nothing that we need to be on the lookout for.
Nothing that I'm aware of or that he is aware of.
I feel like that's a cop-out answer.
Well, some things we all just don't know about ourselves. That's the thing going through life and growing up.
Um, we had talked about in Wes's interview about kind of the role that everyone is going to play, and Wes is planning to sort of run his character as more of a utility character, and he specifically said that he is refusing to take any healing spells. So does that mean that Azim is going to be our pocket healer for this group?
Oh, that's going to be very interesting. Probably not. He might try, but I don't think he'll understand the proper ways of healing, considering, like I said, he's only been doing the paladin thing or learning to be a paladin for about 5 years. He doesn't really know that much about it. Most he knows and the most he's learned is how to defend people, to keep them from harm.
So let me ask, where has he learned this sort of this paladin practice from?
One day the nomad tribe he is with, or the nomad group he's with, the caravan, were being attacked by a gang of bandits, marauders and all this such. And one day this figure clad in like armor came in and stopped the bandits. The one thing that caught Azim's eye the most was this person, this humanoid or figure at the time, doing to him, had stomped on the ground, and for a good 20 or so, 30 feet around him, the bandits just stopped in their tracks and were not able to move, and he just took them down like it was nothing. Come to find out, he was a wandering paladin of Horus, and he introduced himself as Kavil, I'm sorry, and Azim was just enamored by it. He was ecstatic to see this. He's never seen this before in his life.
And it sounds like he was still. I mean, I think he is a fairly young character, but it sounds like he was, even younger at this point. And it also sounds like this made a pretty big impression on him. Is that right?
That is correct. Azim was about 14 when he met Kavil.
So this 14-year-old's around. This his family and him are getting attacked. This badass shows up, saves the day. I mean, what's not to like about that?
That's the way Azim felt. He felt very inspired by him, to the point he actually asked him to teach him the ways of his ways. And
So
for years, Kavil trained Azim to become a paladin of Horus.
So Azim left with Kavil, and sort of went under his tutelage.
That is correct. They would come back to the nomad caravan periodically. They wouldn't go too far out. He basically took him around to kind of help him train against like other bandits, like going against them and marauders and the such.
So
Always keeping a watchful eye.
So giving him the tools to sort of help defend his own.
That is correct.
And now Azim, who is a young adult, is looking to maybe use those tools to protect others.
Yeah, he's really wanting to protect his family. Kavil really put in his heart to protect the innocent and all of that. The good boy paladin thing, and he wants to live up to that. He wants to live up to the teacher he had. He wants to make his parents proud and his caravan proud. With their travels, Azim has shown that he's pretty capable of defending the caravan. Kavil has since left and went on his own. And one day, hopefully, we'll be reunited with Azim.
Oh man, that means I have to write stuff into this campaign.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Make you do
I
a little
was
work.
I was planning on just reading the book verbatim and dealing with that, but I guess not.
Shame, shame, shame.
I appreciate that. Well, is there anything else that you want to share about your character? Anything else that you feel like anyone needs to know? Obviously, we'll keep spoilers to a minimum.
Um, Being raised with the caravan, he has very limited social interactions. So with bigger cities, because there was very few people that went to the bigger cities to do the trade, while everyone else stayed back and kind of handled like supplies and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see him in like the larger cities he's never been to. Um, Obviously, with the people that he'll end up meeting will be interesting.
So, sort of moving out of his comfort zone, not only in his environment, but those who he's around.
That is correct. Zim also learned, obviously, about the being a paladin of Horus, the sun god of the southern lands, who is considered to be a lawful good god in the southern lands.
So a lawful good human paladin.
Yep,
Okay. Well, I know that's just because there's no Dragonborn in this setting, or else you would have played one of those.
probably.
Well, yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking a break from playing whatever you're playing and to do this. For those of you that are listening to this, we still have one more sort of in the works with our last player. We're looking forward to that, and then we'll be diving into some of these episodes, and we'll see how it goes. Josh, if you inevitably die in the first 3 sessions, probably because of something that I missed up, or missed or messed up, what's your backup character? Do you have one of those planned, or is that going to take some time?
I have a concept for a character, um, but I'm not sure if I want to go with it yet. But it has been a thought. It is a Griffin Knight for the a fighter archetype. Because what's cooler than riding into battle on a Griffin?
I mean, that's fair. Okay. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Are you gonna have like a blooper reel or something?
No, I cut everything out.
Oh.
Hey, everyone who's made it this far. We are on our last character intros, so thank you so much for sticking around. Last but certainly not least, I'm here with Melissa. Hello, Melissa.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So tell me a little bit about your experiences with tabletop games.
I started playing tabletop games with you. And I made a sorcerer character, and ever since then, I've mostly played sorcerer characters.
So started with magic and stayed with magic. Um, Anything else about your characters that was very similar?
They were always behind the scenes characters. Pause for sticky meowing.
So you've stuck with spellcasters for the most part. What else about your characters was, similar?
My characters are always behind the scenes characters that did more defense than offense. Always at the back of the line, never really charging out in front to fight. Never a fighter.
Okay. And what about from a roleplay perspective? What were they like?
Small, timid, young.
So I assume that you're making a small, timid, young background character for this game too.
Absolutely not.
All right. Tell me about him.
So Merwin is a half-orc barbarian. She is basically the mom friend of her little found friend group, where she takes care of everybody. She's front of the line. She's the one that everyone comes to when they need help. She's large, and she uses her large size to protect her friends and her family, her found family.
So that's a pretty significant change for you then.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but it's about time that we've had a change in my characters because it was going a little stale.
Okay. So how have you prepared this character? What kind of stuff have you been? I know you're a big reader. Is there anything you've been reading, or anything you've been looking into to get some inspiration for your character?
So one of my favorite books is what's the name of that book? One of my favorite books is Gideon the Ninth by Tasman Muir, and Gideon is a powerhouse character. She is the one in charge, the one who takes care of Harrow, who is Gideon's charge.
And would you say that was a big inspiration for this character?
Definitely. There's a second book in the series I haven't read yet, but definitely going on with the first book.
And how much do you know about the other player characters that you're going to be adventuring with?
I know a little bit. I know them as people outside of the game, and I know what characters they tend to go for. I don't know so much about their characters in this game, though.
So you mentioned you're playing a half-orc barbarian, but a half-orc. Have you read anything about half-orcs or orcs in the Midgard setting where we're going to be playing?
I know they're not popular.
Okay.
I know they're kind of on the sidelines of society. I'm probably going to get some stuff when I first go into the city.
You feeling any type of way about that, or any sort of special preparation or consideration?
I would use her personality to my advantage. I wouldn't say she was brash, but she's definitely like a type A in charge personality.
You've played with our other players before, Chris and Wes and Josh. Do you have any concern that your character may clash with any of theirs?
Josh, definitely. I'm used to him being the lead of all of us, but he might have some competition in this game.
All right. Is there anything else that you're looking forward to, or anything else you want to share with anybody?
I'm just really excited to be playing a different type of character. It still has a little bit of me in it. All my characters have a little bit of me in it. I like to be the mother figure of my friend group, and I like to take care of everybody. Being a 6 foot tall, large person, I want to be able to take care of my friends and my family, and I added that into Merwin's story.
I'm excited to find out what happens with Merwin and to see how her story unfolds. So thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.